Yes, guys, we're back again. Big up to all of you for being here so early. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're on our way to 20k and we're getting very, very close. So thank you all for that. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. Big up to Dave. Big up to Dave. Big up to Connor. And we have got Rich joining us very, very soon. Not sure if we've got Natalie and Sam with us tonight. I can't get hold of them. And to be honest, they're so busy. Natalie's going to be very busy because of Vincent Company, I imagine. And obviously, Sam, likewise, is going to be busy. Big up to Rich for joining us, top man. Big up, good to see you, my bro. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about managers. We're going to talk about the rumors. We're going to talk a little bit about how bad the manager market actually is right now. That's definitely something that we're going to be discussing. The talent pool as well as the manager pool is not great at the moment. We're going to be talking about team of the season with a twist. I've asked these gentlemen to give me their 1 to 11s of the season that only involve or include players that play for their clubs. So they're not allowed to use any of the Race for Europe teams. And that has been very, very enjoyable to hear some of your combined 1 to 11s that we've seen. So we are going to discuss the winners of that. We have got a team of the season, which I think is pretty good and would give the Race for the Europe boys a run for their money if it was put together. Big up to Rich. How are you, mate?
Doing good. Nearly half term. So it just gets crazy. GCSE season as well. So the A-levels, they're all over the place.
Man, it sounds stressful, my friend. But
yeah,
the end is near, man. The end is near.
Absolutely.
Connor, last one of the season, my bro. How you feeling?
Not too bad. Relieved. I think relieved is the main one.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I bet you are, and ready to go again this summer. Dave Asprey, how are you, mate?
Let me mirror Connor's statement and say I'm relieved as well. Actually, it's been a long haul. It's been a long few months, personally speaking, and with things going on in the family and that. But eventually, our lot managed to pull themselves together enough to stay up. Not a glorious season, but we're back again next season, and that's really all that matters.
Absolutely. Luton, Dave, talk to me, mate. The season is done. You've enjoyed it, but you're going to have to go again next season, my friend.
Well, firstly, I'd like to say I'm sober, and I'm literally sober until August, and then I'll get back on it. But yeah, look, I've said it all along. I said it last week. I've said it every time I've been on. It's been an absolute brilliant experience. I'm sad we're not staying in it, but hey, look at my club, and yeah, we'll be stronger. We'll come back, I hope. Maybe not straight away, but we'll come back. And I've had a great time, but I am sober, which is a bit of a disappointment.
Well, listen, we've got no football this weekend unless you're a Manchester City or Manchester United fan, of course, or if you're in the playoffs, which Leeds and Southampton are going to be fighting for. That's going to be a cracker, by the way. I cannot wait for that one. I'm actually looking forward to that more than I am Man City, Man United. I couldn't give a damn about that game, honestly. I can't stand both the clubs. So let's look at Leeds and Southampton, innit? That's the way I see it. It's going to be a good weekend, of course. The sun is shining where I am, so that's always good as well. We're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, before we go into this team of season, I want to get your thoughts, lads, in general. And this is just a general question about the managers that are available at the moment. And there's a lot of people that are discussing Mikel Arteta at Arsenal within our fan base, saying some are saying he's not sure he's the guy to get us across the line and we might have to change the manager. And then you look at the manager list and you think, oh, no, actually, do you know what? I'll keep him, because that is an absolute shambles of a list that I am seeing. We have got to a stage now where Chelsea are sacking Pochettino, which I think is a bit strange anyway, but so be it, as Chelsea. And the list is Kieran McKenna and Maresca, and then it stops. So they're looking at the two championship managers that have come up. That is how bad it has got. Now, and this is no disrespect for either of those, because I think McKenna's done a wonderful job. And for me, he's manager of the season. Like, for me, it's unbelievable what he's done, right? But when you look at that and you think, right, he's just got Ipswich Town in the Premier League. He's got to go and win us a title now with Chelsea. Like, that is actually what these owners are thinking. This, to me, shows they have absolutely no clue what they're doing. They are an absolute shambles of a football club. And long may it continue, because I can't stand them. Let's have it right. I can't stand Chelsea Football Club, and I hope it carries on. But my goodness, what a mess we are seeing at the moment. You've got Company, who's now left Burnley, looks like he's going to Bayern Munich. You've got De Zerbi, who's left Brighton. No one knows where he's going. I'm still not sure that he's amazing, like some people think, but some people want him at Man United and Chelsea. Manchester United, they're not sure what they're doing with Ten Hag. You've got Lopetegui at West Ham. It's a bit of a mess, gentlemen. I mean, I don't even know who wants to go first, but does anyone else agree that the manager list is rather poor at the moment?
Yeah, I'll go first, Dan. I think it's about that big, right? When you've got people failing upwards, it really is not a good sign. I mean, to be honest, Dan, I watched your Arsenal show the other night, and Northside was on, right? So Northside wants better than Arteta. He's only got one name he can think. There's only one name available to him better than Arteta, right? So Arsenal need to get Pep Guardiola, right? That's all that's available to him that's better than Arteta. Basically, I put in our WhatsApp group, I put a comment where I think there are two species of manager. One is Pep Guardiola. The second is everybody else, right? It's got to that point where, and I was like, I was desperately, I was putting in the comments. I think it was on the Race for Europe show, and all this was going on. I put Arsenal need to go and get Pep Guardiola because nobody else is better than Arteta other than him. It's a bit like back in the day. Who's going to be better than Sir Alex Ferguson? There's nobody. It was pie in the sky to believe it. I mean, you know, and now this business of company to Bayern Munich. Has Bayern Munich not watched Burnley this year? Have they not seen Vincent's stubbornness or his inability to take a different direction to help his football club stay in the Premier League? Have they not watched anything? I mean, you know, Kieran McKenna, as you say, I think is absolutely superb, right? But if I was Kieran's brother or his dad or whatever, I'd be saying, stay at Ipswich for God's sake, mate. You
100%.
need to stay at Ipswich Town. I think if Kieran McKenna leaves Ipswich to go to the $1 billion bomb site, he's like committing, I think, professional Harry Geary, because he might not come back for that. I love to think that McKenna's calm, thoughtful persona will eventually say, you know what, that's a jump too far. Let me stay with Connor Chaplin and George Hurst and Sam Morsey and all these other fantastic lads I've got at Ipswich. They built a family there. For a club to do 2 promotions in 2 seasons, that has to be a family, and he's cultivated that. I don't think he should. I don't think Maresca should leave Leicester. You know, so I think it's like the teams that can win things are becoming a smaller pool. The teams of managers that are kind of valid to come in and do these jobs, that is getting smaller, and it's just going to go down a plug hole. It's like, you know, these people say, no, you know, I personally think, what more could Mikel Arteta do at Arsenal? Would any other human being other than Pep Guardiola make Arsenal better? I don't see it. So it's become a bit ludicrous, to be honest.
Yeah, as go on, Rich.
I was just going to say on that as well, like, as much as the Premier League's the best league out there, there's not many projects. Like, it's so cutthroat nowadays that I'm starting to think managers are thinking, I might just go Bundesliga or La Liga or Serie A, where I actually may have a bit more time to build what I want to do. Pochettino had 1 season. Granted, it started off terribly, but he was starting to get somewhere with them, you know. And I actually have a theory with the Poch second. I think he wanted to keep Gallagher, but Chelsea need to sell, and Gallagher and Chalobah will mean it's 100% profit. So therefore, I'll get rid of the gaffer then, because then we can sell him anyway and stuff. So it's a complete mess. Like you said, Ten Hag is not sure of his job. Some are calling for Arteta's head, you know. So apart from Pep and Klopp before he decided to leave, is there really job security out there? It's crazy.
It is crazy, man. Dave, let me come to you. What do you make of the Poch sacking at Chelsea, and what do you make of the manager port at the moment, bruv?
I don't know what to say about it, really. Even Rob Edwards has been linked back in to come to, if he goes from Ipswich, they've linked Edwards to Ipswich and things like that. And he failed in the Premier League, although he did well for us. I don't know what to say. The people are chasing money, aren't they? And the owners are chasing money, and they're chasing success. They're chasing Europe, and they want instant success. They're not prepared to wait for it anymore. So that's the reason there's a high turnover, especially at clubs like Chelsea. You know, so I don't know. I think Pochettino did all right. I think he did all right with what he got. The end of the season, he got them firing on all cylinders. I think you're right. He should have had another season. But, you know, fans are as bad. Chelsea fans would be as bad as the owners, saying there's no success here. I don't want him here. I want that trophy, because they've had a few, haven't they, in the past? They've won the title in the past. And so they want instant success, and we're not getting that. I don't know enough about your Ipswich manager really to say could he survive in the league. But if he goes to Chelsea, is he going for ambition or is he going for the money? I don't know, because if he really wants to prove himself, he'll keep Ipswich up, won't he? And then go and then move on. And I hope there are some loyalties there. But if he chased the dollar, look at Luton and Nathan Jones. He chased the dollar twice and didn't succeed twice. So it's a difficult one. I don't know what to say. I just think no one's got any patience these days, and I think it's all down to the way that the Premier League is set up, the way that the owners and the bigger owners who've got all the money think they can buy anything they want, they can get anything they want, and if this guy doesn't get it, we'll pay more for this guy over here. And I think that's where you guys are at, and that's where the Premier League is at. My club can't afford to do that, but I don't understand why they got rid of him. I don't understand the company thing. I don't understand your Leicester managers getting him back up and then wanting to go or being taken away. I don't get it. And this always happens right now. It always happens. This all this stuff comes up and everybody says, "Oh, this guy's going to go here. This guy's going to go here," and then suddenly nothing, and you'll get a complete outfield guy come in. But I couldn't even look past the current managers and say, who would I have? I couldn't look past any of them. And Dave's right. Pep Guardiola is the best manager at the moment. If you need him, that's the one you should go for. Give him a new challenge. See if he can come and manage Luton with no money. That would be fun.
Yeah, man, that would be fun to see, I must say. Big up to Rich O in the chat. Big Everton fan says, congratulations to Lookman scoring a hat-trick in the European final. So would it for Atlanta? Sorry, it didn't happen for him at Everton. Connor, I imagine you agree. Talk to me, bro. What do you make of this situation with these managers? Like, I find it bizarre that a Chelsea manager can sack Potter, then Pochettino, and then go for a Championship manager who's just been promoted. And then it's an absolute mess when you look at what Manchester United is supposed to do with Ten Hag, because you sack Ten Hag, what are the options for them? Like, not great. Gareth Southgate's one of them. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's that great. I can't lie to you, Connor.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. I'd echo what Rich and Dave have said as well, though. I think as mad as it is for the clubs to be doing it, fans have to take a little bit of responsibility for it as well. Certain fans, like we're on about Arsenal now, changing Arteta. He's done a really, really good job compared to where you were when he came in. He's done a really good job. You've pushed City this season a lot closer than last season. All right, it was 6 points off. But still, this is Man City. While we're gassing up Pep Guardiola and Man City, you pushed them this season to about 2 games, which you could easily look back over your season and go, they were the 2 games. And it could be something like a fluke goal or a day off. You know what I mean? He's done a really good job this season. I can't believe there's people that want him out. But I think that's the way football is, isn't it? Don't win something. People don't seem to see the 5-year plan. They see the 6 months plan. You're always, 5 games without a win before fans of certain, especially the top clubs, start going, do we need to sack him? I think it is time's up. And it's like, why? Because he hasn't won in 5. There's another 25 games for the rest of the season to go. There's plenty of time to turn it round. But it is weird, the managerial stuff. I think the only Bayern, I think they're a bit unlucky with the fact Jurgen Klopp's probably going to want to rest before he jumps into his next job. Otherwise, he'd have been the obvious candidate for them. And then after him, I think the only manager that's free that's what I would put in the top 10 is obviously Jose Mourinho's without a job, but I don't think Bayern Munich will see him as a attractive appointment, although he'll almost definitely win stuff over there with them. I don't think he's an attractive appointment anymore in this day and age of football. So Vincent Kompany is apparently more attractive, which is crazy, and I feel sorry for Burnley fans because he has been stubborn all season, wanted to play nice football with a team that aren't equipped to do it in the Premier League, got relegated, and now is going to get hired by Bayern Munich because he plays nice football. Which again is a whole different topic, but I hate that we are now looking at it like he plays nice football, so he deserves a big job, instead of, well, he's not done very well and got relegated this season, so he doesn't deserve that type of a job. It's almost like I get that, what people like nice football, but where wins and losses matter in sport, and this is a sport, wins and losses should matter. Relegations should put you out of certain jobs.
Facts. I don't
Agreed.
get the
Where's
number.
Gerrard now? I mean, Steven
Yeah.
Gerrard sort of disappeared into the black hole of Saudi Arabia. I mean, if Vincent Kompany, who couldn't keep his team up after one season, is getting a job like Bayern Munich, Steve Cooper's the next manager of Real Madrid. He kept Forest up. He changed his ways to keep Forest up. And I actually thought at the start of the season, Burnley were far more talented than the Forest team that stayed up last year. And, on the quiet, Coops is sitting there. I don't know what Steve's doing, but this Kompany thing, it's kind of a warping of the view of what is credible and what isn't credible. Do you know what I mean? Manchester United. To me, the best candidate for Manchester United is Bradley Wiggins, because they're now run by a cycling team now. So the Bradley Wiggins should do it, or Geraint Thomas or Chris Froome, somebody like that. It's just, but it's got silly. Like I say, certainly the Championship guys, stay where you are and then earn your stripes at the end. If Ipswich stay up, that is one of the great stories. That would have been a great story, like if Rob had kept Luton up, right? And it's just got. Unfortunately, we live in an age of everybody wants instant gratification, 100% worth of instant gratification. Life has changed. I'm 60, so I've kind of seen that evolution a bit more. And nobody's got any patience. Nobody's got any care for another human being. It's becoming. It's like the Roman arena. Really, it's brutal.
Listen, it's a mad one. And I think now we do see managers changing. Now, I've called for Arteta at times to be replaced over the years. Excuse me, this season and last season, getting into a title race with Man City is something I never expected. Not with Arsenal. I thought we'd be a team that challenged for top four under Arteta because he's not really been proven to go into title races. It's his first job. The squad I didn't think was good enough, blah, blah, blah. But I do understand that there are some people that do want instant success. And unfortunately, Chelsea are the fans that want that. So when Roman Abramovich left, I said to a lot of my Chelsea mates, you're going to have patience because you're bringing in kids that are 21, 22, 23 years old. You're spending a lot of money on them. And you're bringing in a manager who you think is a project manager. That means you've got to write off the Premier League for a good few years and try and win a couple of cups along the way now. You're not the Roman Chelsea that just goes and dominates leagues anymore. No. They have got no patience. We'll stick with them. We'll stick with Potter. They gave him 6 months. Now they've given Poch 1 year. This is a merry-go-round at Chelsea, isn't it? This is absolute madness. And it proves that what needs to happen is the ownerships and the structure and the board need to have telepathy with the manager. It needs to be all as one. And I think, to be fair, whether you think Arsenal are doing well at the moment or doing rubbish at the moment, actually that's what we've got right now. Is we've got Cronkies that are supporting and backing a manager. There's a board and ownership and structure within Edu and Arteta that get together and look at the players they think can improve the squad. And fair play, that is something that is a model that a lot of people are looking at now, that were laughing at it a few years ago. You're eighth. And now they're like, oh, Christ, actually, we could do with that right now. So that's why people are looking at Arsenal going, yeah, they'll be all right. They'll be up there. But cool, look at United. Oh, what a mess Chelsea is. God knows what's happening at Spurs, West Ham. Do you know what I mean? All the list goes on. So it is a really interesting topic for me. And I look at it now and I think, where has the talent of managers gone? And where is the talent of the players gone? Now, I'm not saying there's no good players anymore, but I look at the England squad. I think it's probably one of the best we've seen in a long time. But I look at the centre forwards at England and I dry up after Tony and Watkins and Kane. Like, where the hell are they all gone? Like, literally, where have they gone? Like, when I was growing up, Ian Wright couldn't get in the England side. Andy Cole couldn't get in the England side. Because Shearer and Sheringham were there. Owen and Rooney come along. There was not Crouchy. There was Darren Bent, Agbon Lahore. Who else was there? Les Ferdinand was there. Robbie Fowler, Sheringham. All these guys. And you're like, where have they all gone now? Harry Kane, Ivan Toney, Watkins. Where'd you go after that? Solanke, who's had a good shout. Fair play. Calvert-Lewin after that, and Tammy Abraham, people like that, and you think, wow, we're really struggling now, So the talent pool has definitely gone downhill for sure, in my opinion. So it's an interesting conversation, but that is a nice little segue into team of the season with a twist. Now, I asked you all, and there's a couple of people that have sent theirs in to me that can't be here today. Little Dan being one of them, and excuse me, and Sam being another. So. Yeah, it was interesting. Some of the players were absolutely nailed on, nailed on in there. Some deserved a mention. Some of you said these players deserve a mention. Dave Ashbury sent me 25 players who deserved a mention.
Sorry, mate. Loneliness, it's a killer sometimes, Dan.
But there was some that were absolutely a given. And to be fair, I did a vote as well, and it added to what you'd all said, really. So I think a lot of the positions we were on, some of them were up for debate. Nobody wants to put any defensive midfielders in there, so this team is literally going to be attack-minded. So I've had to play host and put a defensive midfielder in there because otherwise the team's just going to get absolutely hammered. There'll be no balance at all. So we have to try and put some balance in there somewhere. But it is a bloody good team, I'll tell you that. And if it was to be put together, I'd like to see where it got into the Premier League. So maybe in the chat, people can play along as we go through. We'll start in goal. This was unanimous, pretty much. Jordan Pickford. So Jordan Pickford was in goal with 6 votes. There was an honourable mention with 2 votes for Kaminsky.
Hey.
Fair dues.
Rich and Dave.
I thought he was brilliant. Like, what a shot stopper he was. You know,
I think he's made the most saves in the division. Obviously, because we've got a crap defence. he's had to make the most saves in the division.
But the saves weren't just routine. They were some stupid saves. Like, how has he saved this?
Rich, he's the first goalkeeper we've had for a long time that you felt we had a bit of security at the back. You know, he could command the box. He's good at shot stopping. And, you're right. Some of his saves have been sublime this season. So I might have been one of the other ones that said Kaminsky, but I did put in brackets. Probably everybody else would pick Pickford. And, you can see why, really, because he's a smashing goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was fair, and it was good to get 2 shout. I mean, Dave, I knew you would mention it, and when Rich did, I thought, that's interesting. Fair play, because at least it seems that he's got a mention. Because I thought everybody was going to be unanimous and go with Pickford, which, to be fair, he did get 6 votes, but 2 votes from Kaminsky, which fair play. Right back was an interesting one for me anyway, and I literally went for this guy. And I did mine first, obviously, and then everybody kept agreeing with me, and I thought, there we go, then I'm happy, because I weren't sure that I can't sit there and be naive enough to say that I watch all of your teams in detail enough. I watch match of the day, I see highlights, sometimes I watch extended highlights. All I see in detail is when we play you. So that is the only time that I watch you in detail. But I did go for Castagna, and everybody else did at right back. The other 2 mentions were the only other one mention, actually. I don't know why I've put Murillo at right back, but Semedo's got a mention as well from Wolves. But Castagna, hands down, was right back. And I think he's had a good
if you want to know why, I don't have a right back or a left back, I went 3 at the back.
You did. Which is why Murillo is there, because you put Murillo at 3 at the back, didn't you, Rich? Yeah. That's why.
Rich, I love you and I will have your children.
Yes, you got a new father.
I'm maybe perhaps a bit old, Rich. I don't know, mate.
Grandfather.
He's enjoying his last time on here for a bit, isn't he?
So there we go. Pickford in goal, Castagna at right back. I've got to say, left back was an easy choice for pretty much everybody. Ones that did get a mention was Alfie Doughty and Ait-Nouri. I thought both deserve a mention, but everybody went with Anthony Robinson. He has been fantastic. He really has at left back. I can't lie. He's, for me, probably been one of the best left backs in the league, I think, this season. Maybe him
Tyrick Mitchell, I think, also deserves a mention.
Yeah, Mitchell deserves a mention, obviously.
Can I say I'm disgusted he's not been picked for England?
Yeah, I am as well, actually, Rich.
Well, the left back. The injury list and the left back situation in England, I would have thought, when else can he get picked? I mean, like Luke Shaw's hardly kicked a ball. Ben Chilwell's been absolutely horrendous. I can understand why Joe Gomez is in there, but surely Mitchell's there as well, right? I mean, yeah, it's poor. He's been great, and I've always rated him. I've always liked Mitchell. You know, it's bizarre, but there we go. So yeah, Ain't Nori and Doughty we've got to mention from Little Dan and Dave. But yeah, I think everybody else went with Robinson, and obviously Rich went with 3 at the back, so he didn't go for a left back. So that's that. I've got to say the centre back pairing. I think everybody will probably agree with this. Everybody went for Jared Branthwaite, other than Connor, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe.
I was going to go with both, but I felt like having those two and Pickford seemed a bit biased.
But I did it, Connor.
I did really want to put
you wait to see my attackers. It's very biased.
I had to pick a second centre back that wasn't from Everton, and it left me scrambling a little bit. But I would have gone Branthwaite as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody went Branthwaite. Tarkowski did get 2 votes. Kilman got 1 from Little Dan. I think that's an underrated defender, by the way.
Yeah,
he never
I agree.
Gets a mention. He never gets a mention. Never gets a call up for England. I think he's been classed. Dawson got 1 as well from Wolves. Zabani as well got 1 from Sam, obviously Bournemouth. But everybody else went for Anderson at Palace.
Yeah.
Who has been phenomenal. I mean, to be fair, he's been phenomenal since he's been at Fulham and Palace, to be fair. So, yeah, for me, Branthwaite and Anderson, I don't think there's any arguments there, really. I don't think you can look at any of the others and say that they would come close, if I'm honest. I know Tarkowski does have a mention being the what he's done for Everton, but when you talk about...
And Morella as well for Forest, I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, I think Morella has been good as well, I must say. But
do you know what, Rich? It's good you're giving him a shot. I think he's a really fun lad. He's such a jolly, the squad and the fans love him. He was voted player of the year. I mean, he's the asteroid. He's come from nowhere. 13 appearances for Corinthians. We've got one of the worst transfer and recruitment policies you've ever seen in your life. But that is a nugget that they unearthed. And I think from the moment he went on the run at your place, I think back in November, where he beat 30,000 people in Croydon to get a shot in. He's just been so fun to watch. I think he's destined for bigger things than us, and it might be sooner rather than later. So yeah, Morella's been fabulous for us, I think.
No, I agree. I think fair play. So we've got an option now in midfield. We can either not play a defensive midfielder, or we can play one. But the options, if I go by votes, would be no defensive midfielder. If I count up the votes that people have gone with. So the ones that are definitely in there is 6 votes, Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
So Ross Barkley is definitely in.
Yeah.
The other one that is definitely in is Morgan Gibbs-White. He has got 4 votes. And then we either do the ones that I've got mentioned as well. Lamina, Rich did pick Lamina.
Yeah.
But then I do one of 2 things. I either play a defensive midfielder with Gibbs, White, and Barkley, or I play more of a kind of box to boxy type midfielder. So Gibbs, White, and Barkley are in. We can either play Paulinho as a DM, who I think is class.
Yeah.
He got 2 votes. Or we play Wharton, who got 3 votes. Now, Wharton kind of can play. I don't know, Rich, you're probably best to tell us. Can he play in the middle there? Gibbs, White, Barkley, and Wharton. Is that a bit too attack-minded?
No, he's very disciplined, to be honest. He can do both sides of the game. So, but if you want it to be more balanced, Paulinho will be the better shot with those other 2 midfielders.
We've got, because Gibbs, White, and Barkley are in, so...
Yeah, can I just come back on Wharton? I watched the Palace demolition of Manchester United quite closely. And obviously the eye gets drawn to Eberechi and Michael. But I was looking behind and really loving what Will Hughes and Adam Wharton were doing. They kind of went a little bit under the radar, and they allowed they kind of provided a platform for Mateta and Elise and Eze to go and do their work. So yeah, he could do that. But I think if you're looking for the complete rounded, I mean, like the only other one Polina actually, I missed that, so I feel bad because I think he's just quality. The only other one I could think of was Idrissa Gana Gay. It's been really good, especially as Everton have kind of clambered to safety towards the end of the season. But I think Polina he's probably, in many regards, outside the top six, the best guy in his position in the division, I think.
He is. He's easily the best CDM outside of the top six, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's clear. And I think he'd go to Liverpool and he'd look fine there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He would.
So that was why I picked him. And to be fair, the only reason he's got a shout is because me and Emilio went for him. Not Emilio. Who else was it? Did you go for him, Connor? Yeah. There you go. So it was me and Connor, because Emilio didn't pick, so he couldn't be here tonight. So it was me and Connor that went for him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got in. And I was like, wow, there's no one thinking of Paulinho. I'm like, wow, he is an absolute baller. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to vote on it. Paulinho or Wharton. I'll get a name from everyone. I'm going to go Paulinho because I feel like we need a DM in there somewhere. Dave Asprey, what are you saying?
Paulinho.
Okay. Dave?
I'm going to stick with what the fellas put down with me, Wharton. I don't care. Who are we playing? That's what I'm saying. Who are we playing? I'm going to go Wharton.
So it's 2-1 Paulinho. Connor?
I'm going to stick with Paulinho.
Okay. Rich?
Yeah, I'll go Paulinho for the balance, even though I had Wharton in the original.
Fair play to you, man. Fair play. Fair play, because I know you're a Palace boy, so fair play. Well, Rich, you'll be really, really happy to know that Elise and Eze got 6 votes each. So they're going either
fantastic.
Those two are brilliant, honestly. I love them, the pair of them.
Literally every single person went for Eze and Elise. So, let's be real. You can't not put them in. They've both been electric. Elise's stats, right, are ridiculous. The guy's hardly kicked the ball. Like this way, he has kicked the ball this season, but you get my point. Now, in comparison to the summer, you just imagine what this guy can do if he don't get injured. Mate, it is scary, man. I think he's class.
And for those who think he's injury prone, I'm going to put the record straight. This is the first major injury he had. And that was with France. It was just our old manager decided to run him in the ground as soon as he got back.
Yeah.
What Glasgow's done instead was said, hold on a second, you're not ready yet. and eased him back in, and we've reaped the benefits. So
Mate,
am I right in thinking I saw 19 appearances, 10 goals and 6 assists or something? So you add, that's exactly half a season. Double it, 20, 12. And I just think if there was one player, where money was no object, if Forest could go and buy him, I'd love that guy. I think he's the coolest player in the league by a mile. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, he is class, man. And Eze as well. A lot of people look at Elise, but Eze has been.
Yeah.
Oh man, how good's he been for most of the last couple of years, man? He can play anywhere across the midfield. Top baller. Looks like he's electric. Creativity. He can take a free kick. Can ping a ball. Yeah, I really like these two, man. You got to keep hold of them two, Rich. I'll tell you this now, because everyone's going to be after them, brother.
It's going to be difficult, but I'm just hoping Glasgow could just get just one more season out of them. And then you know what to say. Hands up. Both of you can go wherever you want. Just give us 1 year.
Looks like Friedman's rejecting Newcastle and staying with you, bro, as well.
Yeah, it looks like new contract signed. I think this is probably the biggest transfer that we needed to get.
100%, 100%, man.
So really happy with that.
Well, listen, he's brought Eze, Elise, and Wharton into the club, and Guerhi as well. Obviously, Mark Guerhi is a good signing for Chelsea. That's a quality signing. I know D was saying that he reckons out of all of them, that could be the one that might be off. He
will be the first one because we've just pretty much got the Fabrizio. Here we go with Chadi Riyad from Barcelona, the young lad. So he's going to come in more so for squad depth, but I think we're also looking at Wolfsburg Lacroix, I believe his name is. Yeah. I think we're expecting Mark to go, so we're planning for it.
Where's he going to go then, do you reckon?
Wherever he wants.
Yeah. I mean, Newcastle and Liverpool need a centre-half. I wonder if Newcastle and Liverpool will be up.
I think he'll be Man United,
Oh, my God, really? That's terrible.
I just think they've got Varane going. They don't really like Lindelof, Maguire. He could literally walk in and play with Martinez, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's not going to walk in and play. It's just look at where he's going. Crikey.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not joking. I think I'd stay at Palace if I was him over Man United.
Yeah.
No joke. Honestly, I would. I think it's
If
horrendous.
we stay as it is,
as well, don't they? So
I think we finish above United next year. If nothing was to change, I think we finish above next year.
yeah, I agree with that.
Agreed.
They're an absolute joke. It's absolutely embarrassing watching them. Like, it's funny, but it's just an embarrassment. It really is. Anyway, Neto did get one vote. Pedro Neto. I think when he is fit, my God, what a baller, mate! Absolute baller, that player.
Superb.
Jeez, I love him. I love him at Arsenal. Again, though, another one is always bloody injured, isn't he? Like Pedro Neto. But yeah, absolute baller. Striker was actually quite a few people that got some votes for this one. But we can only pick one, and one was an absolute unanimous vote. And that was Dominic Solanke. I don't think anyone can not pick him. The guy's been ridiculous, man. He really has. Some people went 4-4-2. Some people put 2 up top. And the ones that got mentioned, Vissa got a vote. I did consider putting him in, because Vissa, I think without Tony, Vissa's been very good for Brentford.
Yeah.
To be fair. And without his goals, Brentford could be in a lot more trouble. To be fair. Hwang got one from Wolves as well. I thought he had a really good season, to be fair.
Yeah.
And Cunha as well from Wolves, who I think is a good player. And then with 3 votes, Rich Mateta, who disappeared for most of the season, and then Glasner come, and then all of a sudden he's banging them in, mate. I mean, I must say, Mateta has been a revelation, man. He's just come out of nowhere and banging them in again, bruv.
Been brilliant for us. Once another player that we're hoping to keep hold of, because I think there's rumours around Napoli, because obviously Oshiman's going. So yeah, it'll be an interesting summer, guys.
Yeah.
Can I without wishing to sound too partisan, can I chuck in Chris Wood's name as well, because that's 14 Premier League goals there. And last year he was seen as a busted flush. None of us, myself included, thought he was finished. And Chris has been on the quiet. He's not the most glamorous footballer. He's towards the end of his career. Chris has put a great shift in for us this year. I mean, he didn't play the whole season because obviously Taiwo played a bit and then Chris came in. But as a number 2 backup, he's almost seen now as integral to what we do next season. So huge credit to him. I think if it is going to be, Solanke to me has been absolutely outstanding. Mateta at the end has been. Every time I see Mateta, I think, my goodness me, he should be in the UFC or something like that. He's built like a brick outhouse, isn't he? And he's that night against Manchester United, I thought he could just it reminded me of Jonah Lomu flattening Tony Underwood in a in a rugby semi-final when the All Blacks played England. And Mateta, to me, he looks like heavyweight boxer, but the goal he scored against United that night, as he ran through, I actually went, go on, mate, hit it, bang it in the back of the net. So. I would hate any defender having to mark him the way he's playing at the moment. You know what I mean?
I'm still having nightmares about Solanke playing against us. So yeah,
and us. He scored a hat-trick against us, Dave. So
every time we've come up against him, he's been a strong player, and he scores, and he just, you think he's not on the boil, and he'll just do something fantastic and score. So yeah, he had to be called in there. It's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying for me.
Yeah,
he's been top.
I tell you about Solanke's physique. I mean, he's incredibly athletic. He's he's quite tall and he's quite big, but he seems to be really sort of lithe and agile. Yeah, and he scored a winner against us at Christmas with a header that was absolutely brilliant. How he managed to twist in the air and get his head on it.
He reacts really well, Dave, doesn't he? He reacts really well. I think he just sees it. He sees it before we do, almost.
Yes, he does.
And I think he gets himself in really good positions. And like I say, it's been the bane of my life this season. And
it's mad because it took him a bit of time, Like he was at Chelsea, at Liverpool, it weren't really working, and then it's like he gone to Bournemouth, and it was like, this guy's not going to be the thing that we all thought he was going to be. And then this season, he's turned out to be fantastic. And I think there's a lot of time you got for players like that just stick with it and keep going. And I think he has been phenomenal. And I must say, if Watkins or Tony were to get a knock, I think he's in the England squad. Let me tell you that. I think he is, so he's the one.
And Sam also said, Sam's been on the show. Sam's always so eloquent. I think Sam and the AFC, the back of the net people, they had their doubts about him. Whether he was, he was lots of good play, as a fulcrum, but could he score the goals? Well, he's added that dimension. To me, like you say, if it wasn't Kane or it wasn't Watkins or it wasn't, to me, he'd be higher up the pecking order than Tony. I actually think with Tony, Brentford have almost said, well, look, if you're going to go, mate, we're all right because we've got Visser and Mbeumo. And Mbeumo needs a shout as well because I think he's been brilliant.
Class.
And it's almost like Brentford have said, okay, you're likely to go. We're all right. We've got Mbeumo, we've got Visser, we've got young Lewis Potter got better towards the end as well. So, but Solanke to me would be in ahead of Ivan Toney every day of the week for me.
Fair play. I must say, like when I was putting this together, I originally went for 4-4-2, and I was looking at the strikers, and I thought it's got to be Solanke, and who's going to be with him? And I actually put Carlton Morris with him because I think he's good. Honestly, I do, and I put them together, and then I was like, does Visser deserve it? Do you know what I mean? Because like Adebayo was one I was thinking of, but I think with Morris, he's been there longer and done it longer. I did look at him, Dave, and think maybe he deserves a shout, and I know you did as well.
Yeah, Carlton Morris, 11 goals this season. People didn't think he'd get double figures. Adebayo got 10 in less games. But Morris is solid up the front. He's a really good target man. He's a very, very strong player. And he scores strikers' goals. I like, we can call him that. And for us, he's been brilliant all season. It was a big... I wanted to put him in, but I didn't think anybody else would pick him, so I didn't put him in. And the same with Adebayo, really. Adebayo... if he stays at Luton, hopefully, he's got a lot of good things coming his way. 10 goals in 27 games he got, and all really pretty decent strikes as well. My favourite one, Dave, at the City Ground, obviously. And Connor, my favourite Morris goal was at Everton. Please let me have these boys. It's the last time I'm doing this.
You can have them, mate. You can have them.
Yeah.
You can have them.
And but it's Luton, isn't it? So, yeah, Carlton Morris, a really good shout. And he's been super for us since he's joined us. And, people said he weren't going to do it in the Championship, did it in the Championship. And now he's done it in the Premier League. And, hopefully he'll get a chance somewhere to get back in.
I remember him at Barnsley, Dave.
Yeah.
I think he played in a playoff semi-final against Swansea. And I think he only featured a little bit. But every time he was on the field, he was a right handful. He's got the biggest feet in Britain as well. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's been offside by his feet at least twice this season, and he's a good guy and he's strong.
Yeah.
When you sort of stand next to him, you think, oh God, he's a right unit as well, and he's a very intelligent player. I mean, just think about that goal at Everton where he just backed off a little bit before the run and run around the back. Decent player. Sad he didn't get in our team though. I'll have to be assistant manager.
Yeah, he's the first sub, man. First sub. Any other shouts from anyone that you think is mad they're not in or mad they're not spoken about this season?
I think we've gone through 24 of my 25 names. The other one I want to chuck in because you four gentlemen have got lives, so I'm slightly different, but I think Antoine Semenyo at Bournemouth and Ryan Christie at Bournemouth both deserve a shout. I'm glad Max Kilman got a vote because Max Kilman would be in instead of Harry Maguire for me. That's the only change to the England squad I would make is Kilman for Maguire because Kilman's played well, but because Kilman plays for Wolves and he's Max Kilman, he don't get all the column inches, but I think he's been pretty. But yeah, Christie at Bournemouth and Semenyo, goodness me, he's a big lad and all, you know what I mean? And towards the end of the season,
who's the left back at Bournemouth that's quality as well? I can't remember his name.
Dennis, is it Kirkes?
Kirkes. He is quality. He's a baller.
Yeah,
he is a great player.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, really, Morgan's got him, but it should be like Bournemouth finished above us, Wolves finished above us, Fulham finished above us, Everton were above us, Brentford were above us. I was a bit wary, a bit like Connor when I wrote Morgan's name. I kind of thought, that's a bit Foresty, and should I do that? But I think Morgan, more than anybody,
he's quality, mate. What a baller he is.
Yeah, I think he was the difference between us and the bottom three. Morgan, this season.
Yeah, he's a top player, mate. Top player. He definitely comes.
I'm going to bring out my Palace bias again. One that I didn't put down because I changed my formation, but just to give a mention, Daniel Munoz.
Yeah. Go with that. Yeah, good player.
Yeah, he
Quick.
has come on, and I didn't expect it, if I'm honest. That was one that I was like, boom, where did that come from? Do you know what I'm saying? And it just kept happening, didn't it? And fair play, man. Fair play. But now, listen, it's been a good season. My last question is the manager out of all of you guys. I've gone for
He's got a shout. He has to have a shout.
I've actually gone for Iraola from Bournemouth. That was my pick.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think Areola has been really good, and I think they stuck with him a little bit like Forest did with Cooper that time, where it was like they could have to get rid of him, and then they were like, boom, he just kept going. I think Areola's been class. Funny enough, when I did my Race for Europe show, Errol voted Sean Dyche as manager of the year.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah.
And fair play, because all the points deductions, everything he went through, I think deserves a mention, to be fair. But I did go with Areola. What would you guys go with, man?
Well, you should vote for the best looking manager first, shouldn't you?
No. That's Wilder.
We just talk about it. It could be anybody, couldn't it? Let's be fair. I'd go for the good looking one myself because I think he's done amazing.
Yes.
And so I would just go with my own manager for the team because I think he could do well with a really good group of players.
Yeah.
And that's the reasoning. He did well with a half decent group of players. We didn't survive, but I think given the opportunity and given the budgets and given the right players, he would do even better. So that's my reasoning. And he is the best looking manager in the league, apparently.
To be fair, he is. I mean, he's even better looking than Arteta. Do you know what I mean? So fair play. Connor, are you sticking with your boy?
Yeah, I am. Sorry. I think after all he's been through and like how depleted our squad is, and the fact he manages to turn it around, I think his mentality gets heavily underrated when people are on about his style and all this. I think the mentality he has is a really refreshed one. I had nothing to play for in Arsenal, yet still told them to go out and play, which was nice to see for an Everton fan. Very rare we go out on the last day with nothing to play for and play like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with him. Unfortunately for the votes, I don't think we're going to be unanimous.
It deserves a mention for sure. Errol picked him on the hot out of everybody. He said, "I'll put him ahead of Pep. I'll put him ahead of it." He picked him. So fair play, man. He went with Dyche, and you were hard to break down, man. Last game of the season, yet again, to wait to the last minute to beat us. So off the ball, I honestly think you're one of the best teams in the league. Off the ball, I honestly do. If you could get some quality on that ball, if you could get some players in now, I think you know, who knows what Dyche can do, man. Who knows? But no, fair play to you. Rich, who are you going for? You going for Glasner or are you going for someone else?
Definitely. What we suffered under Roy Hodgson and the turnaround with the same players, mind you, the same players. I think we're like fourth in the form table since he joined.
Yeah.
Fourth or sixth. What he's done, and we're attacking every team. We're fearless. I just think the turnaround's been incredible. So yeah, even though it's just for like a couple of months, I'm going Oli Glasner.
Mate, well, fair play to you. What are you saying, Dave?
There are three. There are two that I cannot separate because I think they've both been fantastic, and that's Andoni Iraola. You know, they were rock bottom. I think they came to Everton in September, October, lost 3-0, and I remember Sam and Tom and Tiggs and all the back of the net boys who I love to pieces were really very, very gloomy about it. But those lads showing their intelligence, so just give the guy a bit of time, and then the run Bournemouth went on, and the football they've played. Huge credit to Andoni Iraola. He's earned his contract extension, but I've got to give some credit equally to my ex-Forest brother, Mr. Dyche, because I think he's been magnificent. The use of a tracksuit instead of a suit, I thought was a masterstroke of sartorial genius and tactical ability. I thought that was great. I mean, what Dyche's had to put up with. I mean, Dyche's proper guy, proper football man. Dyche's entertaining. He's funny. He doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, for his eloquence. He's an academic. He's an intellectual. He's extremely clever. I think he's got degrees and what have you. He's a huge. I love Sean Dyche. For a while we were kind of thinking, Dyche spent the first quite a lot of the season at our place, right?
I thought he was going to go to you because he was watching all your games.
And we thought that, but I think our owner would worry that Dyche would be too much for him, and he probably would be actually. I think Dyche is fantastic, and also let's continue this little Forest theme. Connor knows the two names I'm going to say: My mates Woney and Stoney as well have done a great job there at Everton. I think you know, a 10-point deduction, then to finish like they did. I mean, the night against that night when they played Liverpool at Goodison, which was I think 3 days after we'd been there, and we'd been atrocious. And I kind of logic suggested I wanted Everton to lose to Liverpool. No, all that night I wanted Everton to go and get 3, 4, 5 and destroy Liverpool, and they were magic. The other one I've got to give a mention to, and I think he's to me, he's the epitome of dignity and class in football. I watched his press conference after the last game from Saturday. I watched it today, and I think Rob Edwards is if you want to find somebody, you know, football gets a bad press. If somebody said to me, show me some kind of embodiment of what's good about football and the people in football, go and look at Rob Edwards. Listen to Rob Edwards. And I think I actually think if Rob had not had suffered the injuries, because he used the word in his presser on that I watched today, I kind of started watching thinking, well, what he's got to say, and I was rapt all the way through. And he said we were threadbare. So for Luton to even be in the conversation to the final day, I mean, huge credit. But but unfortunately, Rob went down. To me, it's Iraola and Daichi, and I can't separate the two. Marco Silva also needs a bit of mention, and Thomas Frank. You know what they've done is great. You know, so but yeah, Iraola and Daichi for me.
It's a hard one because I looked at the Premier League table and I just thought, right, let's do this seriously. And I went from the bottom up and I thought, right, Dyche, fair play. Gary O'Neill deserves a mention.
Yeah.
Marco Silva, Fulham. And then I got to 12th place and then 10th place with Palace and Bournemouth. And I thought, Glasner deserves a shout. But actually, when I look at where Palace should be with the players they got, I think they should be around there anyway. Bournemouth, I tip them to go like real struggle, relegation. So I just thought it has to be Areola for me. Like I couldn't look elsewhere. But I understand why Dyche would be in there. I think it would be a toss-up for either of those.
Do you know what, Gaffer? You met when we started on this show at the start of the season, and we were, you were asking us for our 3 to go down. I think it was fairly unanimous, given the state they were in at the time.
Yeah.
That we all thought that Wolves would be the survivor from last season that would go.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
Wolves
and Wolves have been safe for ages now. So, you know, and Gary O'Neill deserves massive credit, really.
Yeah, 100%, man. So how are we going to decide this then? Let's go, Rich and Dave. You can either pick Dyche or Iraola. Dave, start with you.
Iraola.
Same.
Dave?
You put me on. I was going to go Dyche.
Iraola's just got it, but that was close, man. Fair play. No, listen, it has been a crazy season, and it's done and dusted, and that means that we're done and dusted. Let's bring this up because this is relevant to talk about. It's me, Everest says, Potts, will we have new panelists next season from the promoted teams? The answer is, of course, yes. Ash will be back. Ash from Leicester. He's really looking forward to it. We've got Benjamin Bloom who's going to be involved. Benjamin is a really, really good content creator. Massive
guy.
Fan, really good guy. So Benjamin's going to be massively involved as well. And we have one of Joe or Liam returning from last season to this next season. So let's see which one of them it's going to be. Joe really hopes it's him. Liam really hopes it's him. I wish them both the best of luck, man. I really do, because they're both
Wembley, great. Wayneman, Whitehorn. I mean, that is a prospect for Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, man, that does work for the 3 W's. That does work. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Make sure you hit a like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Let's make sure that we can get this community up to 20k. Please make sure you go follow Connor. You'll see his Twitter handle there. Make sure you go follow Rich on Eagle Eye Football, all Crystal Palace content. Make sure you go follow Dave Asprey. And last but not least, the legend that is Mr. Dave Gregory. It has been an absolute pleasure, my friend, to share content with you weekly. You are absolutely more than welcome on this channel whenever you want to. And you have been an absolute hero. It has been a pleasure to share the platform with you, mate. And I honestly mean this. I'm a Luton Town fan next season. I'll tell you that. I want you back up here, man. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say thank you for bringing me on. I've made some new friends. I've enjoyed every time I've come on. And I've been on quite a lot. And I know you stick up for me a lot. And I've enjoyed every single minute of it. I don't know what I'm going to do with my Thursdays apart from watch. now.
Well, listen, you're always welcome, my bro. Trust me.
But it's been fun, and hopefully I'll get a chance to come back on, and hopefully we'll get a chance to be back in the Premier League and join it for properly.
No,
And now I am by a country mile again the oldest person on this bloody panel now that you there's all these young bucks, and I'm like an old fart sitting in the corner. I'm going to miss you, mate. Honestly, you know what I mean?
Country mile. I'm not that far behind you, Dave. I'll be reaching that brilliant age in July.
Can I just say to you, keep going, because I had to go to the doctor's yesterday for the first time in ages, and he gave me a prescription. I went to the pharmacy across the road, and I think the prescription price now is £9.90 for an item. And I got my card out, and she went, "You don't need that." And I went, "Why is that?" "Well, you're over 60 now, so the prescriptions are free." So I was like, "That's all right."
And I never did, because actually I've got a season ticket for my prescriptions. Anyway, we're not talking about that, are we? Look, I've had a blast on this, and I'm really pleased that you contacted me and got me on it. And I wish you all well going forward. And I really hope that Luton do a great thing next season and bounce back. But I've enjoyed every single second on this with you guys. Every single second.
Come on, man.
Brilliant day.
Likewise, the pleasure has literally been all ours, man. Thank you so much, guys. It's been superb. We will be back. There will be content. Don't worry. There's going to be a mix and a match of some panel shows. This week has been the last ones of this format, but trust me, as transfer news comes, as the Euros goes on, there will be football debates on this channel every single day. You'll see me live. So make sure that you stay tuned, like, subscribe, follow all of these guys. And until then, we'll see you next time. Take it easy, people. We're out of here.